Back with Richard over at Springhouse Gardens, kind of picking up on that sentimental factor of a lot of these trees out here, because as a kid, I was very familiar with a lot of those. And I always remember these, which up until a few years ago, I thought were just like their little cones.
What do you call that now?
It's a bagworm. It's a nuisance.
This is a bagworm. So if you can pull these off at this time of the year, sometimes you can't, and you have to have some scissors or something, because this is actually was formed by a caterpillar. There's one single caterpillar that creates this bag, and they will be on any kind of evergreen. They love junipers, they love arborvitae, they love Colorado spruce, they love any needled evergreen, and they will disguise their little, this is the bag. They will cover themselves with any needle. In this one, they've actually got the old juniper berries, so it looks like a nice little ornament that might be hanging on your tree. This is what you want to pick and get rid of, and the wintertime is a good time to do that because it's easier to see these at this time of the year, and the female never leaves the bag. So this is one of these caterpillar, the female caterpillar never turns into a moth, so she dies in this bag with her eggs. So if you leave these bags through the winter, in the spring, all the baby caterpillars will hatch out and you will have a reinfestation. So if you don't know if this has been sprayed, because there are some sprays and there's some biological sprays that you can use, but the sure way to get rid of these is to hand pick them, put them in a bag, put your bagworm in a bag, and I always tie this up and throw it in my garbage, because it is a caterpillar in there. If you're picking these off during the growing season, the caterpillar can just crawl off the ground and climb up onto another tree or onto any kind of living surface, because they're just eating needles and leaves. And if there's enough of these, they can literally kill a tree. And you've probably seen this before with all these little things hanging on, and they're always hanging from the underneath. So here's one right here. It's just hanging on the backside. This is a small one. So I'm going to pull this one off, and that one doesn't have as tight a thread as that bigger one did, and she's going to be dropped, or he or she is going to be dropped into the bag.
One other thing I remember too. Where is it?
There's one of these.
Yeah, another, up until recently, because when I was a kid, I just called those little brains.
This is prevalent on cedar trees. This is called a Cedar Rust Gall, G-A-L-L. And this is a weird looking thing. Right now, it has not gone to spread the spores, but in the spring, during wet seasons, this thing will look like something from outer space. And those spores are released from junipers, and they go and they infect apple trees, crabapple trees, and hawthorns. So if you're trying to grow pretty fruit, you want to remove these. So we go around and cut these off, throw them in with the bagworms, and dispose of those so that you don't have those spores going and infecting your other trees.
Sounds like a good little chore and competition for the boys to get into. Who
That's
can collect
exactly
the most, right?
If you have junipers.
Yeah, that's okay. Or we can maybe bring them out here.
They could come out here. That would be awesome.
All right, let's tell people how to get here.
We're at Springhouse Gardens. We're just out Harrodsburg Road, 4 miles south of Manowar Boulevard. You can find out more on springhousegardens.com. Like us on Facebook and Instagram.